Hello, my name is Doug Dortch, minister at Captiva Chapel by the Sea. Thank you for being with me today as we look at another passage of Scripture for our weekly devotion. This morning, I'd like to read for you a passage from the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter. It's a very familiar passage of Scripture to many of you. Beginning in the first verse, it says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." And then down in verse 6, I want us to focus on this passage as well. "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him." You know, Christians speak of themselves as people of faith, but what does that term faith really mean? Sometimes we need to revisit that question so that faith doesn't become one of those words that followers of Jesus use but never exercise. And that's because, like so much of what it means to be Christian, faith is not just something you possess, it's something that you do, it's something that you exercise. We see this emphasis in the letter to the Hebrews, where the writer gives us a definition that all of us should have at the forefront of our hearts. Faith, says the writer, is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. That's what the book of Hebrews tells us as we consider those persons who are listed in what the letter calls the roll call of faith. And so you continue to read on in the 11th chapter of Hebrews, and you see that as the writer begins to rattle off the names, he pauses for a moment. And he reminds us of this truth. Without faith, he says, it is impossible to please God, for whoever would draw near to God must believe that God is, and that God rewards those who seek him. There are two qualities I see expressed in this passage. One, we believe that God is, that God exists. And secondly, and I think more importantly, we believe that God takes care of his own. Now, I can't think of two better promises for each of us to live by, because times do arise when we wonder if maybe our life isn't totally out of control. All of the hard facts of our everyday existence may show that we are on the precipice of falling down where, like Humpty Dumpty, we can't get things back together, at least not in our own power. But what this passage in Hebrews is reminding us is that when those times come, and they have come in the past, you know that, and they will come again in the future. Whenever those times come, what the passage in Hebrews reminds us is that number one, God is, and that two, God is not shaken by the adversity. God is not surprised by the chaos. God still has his hand on those who look to him and believe in him. In other words, God is in control and he takes care of those who seek him. But notice that qualifier, God takes care of those who seek him. So maybe today you feel as if everything is about to come crumbling down on top of you. And when we earnestly desire to be in God's will and to exercise God's purposes, what this passage assures us is that God never fails. So you just believe. Just believe. Have the faith that God is in control of your life. Believe as Jesus believed when the cross was looming before him. Even when the evidence seems to be pointing in the other direction, know that God is in control, because, as our faith teaches us and as Jesus showed us, for every Good Friday, in God's time, there is a glorious Easter Sunday. Thank you for being with me today and participating with me in this devotion. I hope you have a great week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week.